Your son did well, my lady. He kept his wits while Lord Whitehill lost his temper. A lesser man would have been rattled, but Ethan here held his ground.
You were brave, my son. But you'll need to be braver still when Ramsay Snow arrives to see you bend the knee. Prepare a raven. We need to send word to Mira in King's Landing at once.
Er hat einen seiner Soldaten verloren. Und
Your sister can help us. Although just a handmaiden, she has Marjorie Tyrell's favor. And Lady Marjorie's betrothal to the king may be enough to keep the Boltons at bay. If it's presented to her as it should be.
wir haben ihn also wieder unfreundlich zurückgeschickt. Jetzt sind wir hier in der dritten Szenerie, in einer weiteren Umgebung. Nee, er wollte nämlich sich an den Jungen rächen, weil er einen Soldaten ermordet hat, weil die Soldaten ja seine Familie erwischt haben, wie wir ja schon am Anfang gesehen haben der Story. Und wir haben ihn ja zur Mauer geschickt, um ihn zu schützen, weil wir wussten, dass Lord Schnee kommen wird, um ihn zu holen, um seine Strafe zu kriegen. Um seine Genugtuung zu bekommen, aber wir haben ihn direkt ins Gesicht gesagt, wir haben ihn weggeschickt, tut uns leid, er ist nicht mehr da, Pech gehabt, Fett, Sack. So. Ich glaube, wir sind ja, glaube ich, eine Zofe, glaube ich jetzt, wenn ich mich nicht irre. Wir sind ja nicht, wir sind Hauspersonal, sage ich mal wieder. Also werde ich nicht in die Truhe gucken. Das könnte ein Tagebuch sein, da will ich auch nicht reingucken. Nicht, dass ich hier Ärger kriege. Oh, wir könnten aus dem Fenster gucken.
King's Landing.
Königs Lande.
Sunny at einer today.
Die hätten ja mal ein Bild zeigen können, wie es draußen im Königs Lande aussieht.
It troubles me to even ask this of you, but you must appeal to Lady Marjorie to intervene on our behalf. She is our best hope, and can be a powerful ally, especially now when your family so desperately needs her help.
Eine Anfrage nach Hilfe, wenn ich es richtig verstanden habe. Also ich konnte wahrscheinlich jetzt nur eins der Dinge angucken. Ja, direkterweise haben sie gleich das Buch und Truhe am Anfang gezeigt. Und dann wäre wahrscheinlich direkt am Anfang das Klopfen gekommen. Ja.
Oh, sorry, milady. I didn't mean to disturb you. I can come back later if you'd like.
No, it's fine. Come in.
Begging your pardon, milady, but you all right? If you don't mind my asking, you seem rather upset.
I'm just worried about my family.
Ah, letter from home, is it?
It's kind of you to ask.
Of course, milady. You've always been kind to me.
Please hurry if you can. Lady Marjorie will be here any minute.
Of course, milady. You work for Lady Marjorie? I may be wrong, but it seems like you do.
Perhaps you should come back later.
Of course, milady.
Geh am besten wieder. Du hast ein paar Sachen hingetan, das reicht. Und es bringt sonst nur Ärger, wenn sie dich hier nicht arbeiten sieht und wir uns unterhalten.
Lady Marjorie, you're early.
I was hoping there would be time for us to talk. Come, there's something we must discuss.
Ach, ist das jetzt die Stelle, die ich denke?
From the day you arrived in Highgarden, I've thought of you more as a friend than as my handmaiden. A dear friend, in fact.
Thank you, my lady.
And you know how I feel about what's happened to your family. I feel your pain as if it were my own. What you've suffered is beyond imagining. And your poor family as well.
You're very kind, my lady.
Of course, Mira, but you must not despair. We will get through this together. You must understand there are limits to what I can say, especially here in King's Landing, now that I am to be queen. To have a handmaiden from the north whose family fought for Robb Stark. It raises questions at a time I can least afford. Cersei herself cornered me this morning outside the royal sept. She mentioned the northern girl in my service, and she painted you a traitor. She was very pleased with herself. Her face was full of mirth as she said it.
I'm not a traitor.
Of course not. It's only an excuse to torment you, and by extension, me. She demands an audience. She wants an apology of some sort. For what, I don't know, but she's waiting for us now, and I promised I would bring you to her. I wouldn't ask this of you if it were not important. I cannot afford any conflict with Cersei with the wedding so near.
I'll do as you ask, my lady.
I knew I could trust you. Humor her. Tell her what she wants to hear. See if the Queen Regent is ready to receive us. You'll be fine. I know you will. You may feel one thing, but you must say another.
Good luck.
Okay, die Könige will mich sprechen, aber ich weiß jetzt auch, wer wir sind. Und langsam glaube ich, es hat keinen Sinn, das Spiel zu spielen, wenn man die Serie nicht wirklich kennt. Okay, dann laufen wir mal. Die denken, wir hintergehen die, sind also Verbrecher, also schmieden Pläne hinter deren Rücken, aber das tun wir ja nicht.
Ah, Lady Marjorie, aren't you looking lovely this evening?
Lord Tyrion. Your Grace? With your permission, allow me to introduce Lady Mira of House Forrester.
Your Grace.
The girl knows her courtesies. Impressive. You may rise.
House Forrester is a northern house loyal to the king.
Are they?
I beg your pardon, Your Grace.
I wasn't talking to you. I want to hear from the girl. Is your family loyal to the king?
Perhaps you
Natürlich.
should ask the new Lord Forrester.
He's not here, is he? She is.
Yes, Your Grace. To the one true king.
The one true king. Yet she didn't say which. The girl is clever.
She only meant...
I don't care what she meant. I care what she said. I won't stand for impertinence from a girl of the north.
If you would give her the chance to explain...
Perhaps she can explain why the Forresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark for centuries. A house of traitors.
Yes, Your Grace. They are traitors.
The Starks were your liege lord, yet you name them traitors so easily. Is it any wonder you were so impertinent to ask which king deserves your loyalty, if you have any loyalty at all? Is your house willing to swear fealty to your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
Yes, Your Grace. Absolutely.
I see. Despite the fact Roose Bolton allied with Walder Frey. If it was me, I'd find it difficult to so quickly forgive the men who killed my father. Old allegiances are not easily abandoned. But now that the war is over, we must look to rebuild and forge new alliances. There are ships and shields to be built, and Joffrey will need a steady supply of ironwood for his armies. I'm told there are others who would happily serve that purpose, but I trust we can rely on House Forrester.
Forster Ironwood does seem rather unique.
Yes, Your Grace.
Mein
It would be
Magen.
a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do almost anything to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you? Ask any Lannister, and they'd do whatever was necessary to save Casterly Rock. It would be unfortunate to see another house lay claim to what's yours.
Yes, Your Grace. I would do anything.
I see.
What would you have the girl do, Cersei? It's not as if she fought beside the Starks, wielding a battle axe for the Northern Army.
It raises an interesting question, I suppose. Can we truly blame those who end up on the wrong side of the wall? Our dear Marjorie here was betrothed to Renly Baratheon on the false assumption that he would one day rule the Seven Kingdoms. Can we fault her for her mistake? Should she be held accountable?
I won't judge her, Your Grace. I wasn't there. I didn't face her decisions.
Aren't you a delightful girl? If only one could flit through life without ever holding an opinion of their own.
If there's a point to this, I hope you find it quickly.
Loyalty can be such a hard thing to define. This city alone is filled with all sorts of ambitious opportunists looking to reinvent themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Who knows what lurks within their hearts? You are a girl from the north, here in service to Lady Marjorie. One can only assume her interests are yours. Yet loyalty to a king, that must be absolute, beyond question. And if your loyalties were to become conflicted between your king and the very person whom you serve, what would you do then?
I'm sure she
Let the
would...
girl answer the question. Go on.
My loyalties would never conflict, Your Grace.
That's a coward's answer. I will not have my time wasted by a northern girl who thinks she can play games. Who do you choose?
The King, of course.
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
She is a threat to the crown, isn't she? The most dangerous handmaiden in all of King's Landing.
My sense is this girl will say almost anything to get what she wants. Which is not very encouraging. I'd like a word with you, if I may.
Of course, Your Grace.
I'll walk you out. This may come as a surprise, but I met your father once, at the tourney at Lannisport. Even then he didn't trust Roose Bolton. We only spoke briefly, but your father struck me as an honorable man. You have my condolences for his loss. These would be trying times for your family, even under the best of circumstances.
Thank you, Lord Tyrion. That's very kind of you to say.
That certainly took courage. To so publicly declare your loyalty to Joffrey for all to hear. Poor Lady Marjorie was humiliated, although Cersei seemed quite pleased. It was quite the first impression. I, of course, found it all highly entertaining.
I was trying to appease her.
I think that was clear to everyone. My sister and I have our differences. She takes great pleasure in her little charades. I take mine in thwarting them. We must find our amusements where we can. She threatened to give your ironwood to another house. It is the Master of Coin who decides such matters. The crown needs boats. Boats need wood, and I speak for the crown in this regard, not her.
I wouldn't want to anger Cersei.
And you'd be wise not to. But I suppose the crown could be persuaded to secure ironwood from House Forrester. Lady Marjorie might not look favorably on such an alliance, and it would infuriate Cersei. Although what would be amusing for me might prove rather dangerous for you and your house. Are you willing to risk that? It may be far too dangerous.
I'm sorry, Lord Tyrion, but it's a risk I cannot afford.
I admire your discretion. Now, if you'll excuse me, I promised Sansa I would join her for dinner tonight. 3 beautiful bottles of Dornish wine await my arrival. The mere thought of them makes me thirsty already.
I hope we meet again.
Nothing would make Cersei happier. Until then, be careful. This is not the North. King's Landing can be a nest of vipers to the uninitiated.
Ja, Königs Lande ist wirklich ein Haufen mit Schlangen. Wir befinden uns ja gerade im Königs Lande. Und hier laufen wirklich viele Schlangen rum. An Menschen.
Mira, I was worried. How was it? Cersei has a way of looking at you as though you're nothing. It's more than a little intimidating.
It didn't go very well.
I'm sorry. Cersei is known for being rather difficult. But at least it's over now. Lady Marjorie has spent the entire day working on seating arrangements for the wedding. Of course, you and I are seated way at the back, here with the 4th cousins and the 9th-born sons. Ah, Sir Jaime. I wouldn't mind tarnishing that white cloak of his.
Sarah!
What? It's true. And Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper. I'm told he has a paramour, which I doubt is Dornish for wife.
You'll get us in trouble.
We're just having some fun. Perhaps Lady Marjorie could make the right introductions. Who knows? We might meet our future husbands. Although, marrying a king, I can only imagine what that would be like. Would you marry Joffrey if it meant you'd become queen? He does have a certain look about him, and he's always treated Lady Marjorie well, which is more than you can say for his mother.
I'd marry anyone if it helped my family.
Oh, so wollte ich das nicht sagen.
Of course. Well, I would marry him. Imagine the power you would have as Queen of the 7 Kingdoms. I might even allow you to be my handmaiden. Let's see, who else should we marry off? Brienne of Tarth and Tyrion Lannister. What a perfect match! Sir Bronn and...
What are you doing? Well?
I'm sorry, my lady.
As am I. We shouldn't have been messing about.
This is not a game. It's a battle plan. Allies and enemies can be made with every move. Yet they say it is men who are powerful. The Queen was pleased by your display, Mira. I'm just glad it's over. King's Landing can be exhausting sometimes. There's always someone to please or some perceived slight to smooth over. I fear it will only get worse when I am queen.
Once they know your true heart, the lords and ladies will have no choice but to love you.
Do you agree?
People are not always so easy to please. If you showed Cersei your true heart, she would stab it with a fork.
You learn very quickly. You were brave agreeing to obey the Boltons. That cannot have been easy. I know you must fear what Lord Bolton might do to your family. I do appreciate your willingness to appease her, as difficult as it may have been.
Thank you, my lady. There's been something on my mind. Something important. I did have a favor to ask of you in return.
Whatever you wish to say, you can say it in front of Sarah. There are no secrets between us.
It's about my family.
I trust her.
I prefer to speak with you alone.
Ich tue ihr aber nicht so ganz trauen.
Go on. Ask.
Forgive me, my lady. I wouldn't otherwise ask this of you, but my mother insisted. It's about my family.
Ramsay Snow. What would you have me do?
My mother fears our family will suffer if Ramsay is left to do as he likes. She thought, if a raven could be sent to the Boltons to let them know House Forrester has the protection of the crown. I know it's a lot to ask of you, and I wouldn't otherwise, but she insisted.
That is no small request, especially now.
I know, my lady, and I wouldn't ask this of you otherwise. But my mother has left me no choice. She insisted.
Joffrey knows only too well your family fought for the Starks, and now you would have me ask him to intervene. Is the situation that dire? Joffrey will not look favorably on such a request.
Please, Lady Marjorie, I beg of you. I fear for my family's safety.
I don't know, Mira. If Cersei were to find out...
Don't let the Queen bully you. You have power over him, Lady Marjorie, as no one else does. Not even his mother. Ramsay Snow will arrive at Ironrath within the week. I would never ask this of you if it weren't so urgent.
Very well. I'll make your request, but I cannot promise anything.
Thank you, my lady. I will send a raven to my family at once.
Ob das gut gehen wird. Mit der Anfrage um Hilfe. Aber komme ich ja auch mal zum Speichern? Ich bräuchte wirklich bald mal eine Pause. Ach, jetzt sind wir... Wolfswood, Kings Road, Königliche Straße. Auf dem Weg zur Mauer wieder bei Ihnen. Nein! Soll ich jetzt etwa den ganzen Weg zu Fuß laufen?
7 Hells.
7 Höllen, ja. Sieben Königreiche, 7 unterschiedliche Höllen.
Let's play a little game, shall we? Did you know my ancestors wore the skins of their enemies as a coat?
Ist da nicht der, den ich... Ich würde sagen, wir machen an der Stelle eine Pause und wir springen da beim nächsten Mal wieder rein. Danke fürs Einschalten. Wir werden dann mal gespannt weiter gucken, wie es demnächst weitergeht. Ich werde nochmal probieren herauszufinden, ob ich nicht doch irgendwie den deutschen Untertitel reinschmeißen kann, damit mehr meiner Zuschauer das verstehen. Die geben einem ja auch keine Zeit, alles zu erklären, was die da sagen. Und ich möchte auch ungerne reinsprechen, wenn die Synchronsprecher da, wenn die Stimmen von denen sind. Und das ist ja eigentlich permanent. Man hat kaum, sag ich mal, Zwischenräume, wo man was sagen kann. Weil das einfach nahtlos übergeht. Auch von mir werdet ihr wahrscheinlich nicht so viel hören, aber das wird sich alles noch zeigen. Ich bedanke mich auf jeden Fall fürs Einschalten. Wir sehen uns, wenn es weitergeht und wenn es wieder heißt Game of Thrones. Bis dann, euer Sushi. Ciao.